Hello students! In our previous video, we learned that human heart is a special organ which generates required pressure to push the blood throughout the body. For this purpose, heart has special cardiac muscles which contract and relax continuously. Now imagine if these muscles are unable to relax or contract. Yes, you are right. Eventually, heart will stop beating. That is, it will stop pushing the blood and we will die due to lack of oxygen and nutrients in our body, since there will be no blood circulating in our body. This is called as cardiac arrest. Now students, you already know that heart has 4 chambers from inside, 2 auricles and 2 ventricles, and 2 membranes called as pericardial membrane or pericardium from outside. The primary function of heart is to circulate blood within the body. And now that you are acquainted with the structure of heart, let us have a closer look at how blood circulates inside our body. In our body, blood travels through a complex network of tubes called blood vessels. The journey of blood is non-stop and in a closed loop. This is because humans have a closed circulatory system. This means that if we start our journey as a blood from any point in the body, we will come back to the same point again after one cycle. Isn't it amazing? Yes, it is. So let's begin our journey in human circulatory system. Blood in the left chambers of heart, that is left auricle and left ventricle, is rich in oxygen and is called oxygenated blood. When the heart contracts, this blood from the left ventricle enters the artery named aorta. Remember, it is the biggest artery of the body. Yes. Arteries carry oxygenated blood away from the heart to all body tissues. Now blood continues from arteries, fine branched tubes called arterioles, and from here blood enters the narrowest vessels called as capillaries. The capillaries have extremely thin walls. In fact, wall made up of only one cell layer. This allows easy exchange of gases and other substances between the blood in the capillaries and the body cells. Oxygen and nutrients diffuse into cells from blood, and carbon dioxide and waste diffuse out of the cells and enter the blood. Now, the blood, which is loaded with CO2 and waste materials, is brought back to right atrium. How? Let us see. The capillaries in the tissues merge into another set of blood vessels called venules, which in turn unite to form veins. Veins are the blood vessels that carry impure blood or blood loaded with CO2 and materials back to heart. Thus, the oxygen poor, or we can say CO2 rich blood from various parts of body reaches the right auricle through 2 biggest veins called as superior and inferior vena cava. Recall students that this flow of blood from heart to body parts and back to heart is called systemic circulation. We had started following the journey of blood from left side of the heart. And you must have observed that our blood has reached right side of the heart now. But the journey is not yet over. From here, blood is sent for cleaning. That is, it is sent to remove carbon dioxide and to get rich in oxygen. Can you guess where it will be sent? Take a second, pause the video and think. Yes, you are right. Blood from right ventricle flows to the lungs by pulmonary artery. Students, recall that we said pulmonary artery is the only artery which carries impure blood instead of pure blood. Now lungs remove CO2 from blood and fill this same volume of blood with fresh supply of oxygen. Now this oxygenated blood is ready to flow back to the heart. Recall that the circulation of blood from heart to lungs and back to the heart is called pulmonary circulation. Now students, think what if blood flows in both the directions? That is, in two-way instead of flowing in one circular loop within the body. So students, if there is two-way flow in the body and heart, then the pure blood and impure blood will get mixed in the heart itself. Thus, this is not possible and there has to be only one-way circulation or closed circulation in the body. So the question is, how is this one-way flow of blood within the heart and blood vessels regulated? Recall that while studying blood vessels, we studied that veins have valves within them, which stops backflow of blood as veins push blood against gravity. So if blood in the veins flows backwards, the amount of pressure to push it up will be too much, which will increase the blood pressure. Thus, these valves also help in maintaining blood pressure of the body. So students, are there valves present in heart also? Yes, you are right. They are present. So let us study the special structures present in heart, that is valves. Valves are muscular flaps that regulate the flow of blood in a single direction and prevent backflow of blood. The heart has three types of valves. The auricle communicates with ventricle through an opening called auriculoventricular aperture. This aperture is guarded by auriculoventricular valves, shortly known as AV valves. There are two types of AV valves. The opening between the right atrium and right ventricle is guarded by tricuspid valve. As the name suggests, it has three flaps or cusps. A bicuspid valve, which has two flaps or cusps, also called as mitral valve, guards the opening between left atrium and left ventricle. So students, on the right side, you have three flapped valve called tricuspid valve, and on the left side, you have bicuspid valve or two cusped valve or two flapped valves. The opening of right and left ventricles into pulmonary artery and aorta are guarded by another set of valves called as aortic valve and pulmonary valves, respectively. These valves are also called as semilunar valves. Can you guess why they must be called so? Take a pause, and if you think for a second, you'll get to know that lunar has something to do with moon. Yes, you're right. Each semilunar valve is made up of three half-moon-shaped flaps. Hence, its name is derived from its shape and called as semilunar valves, means half-moon valve. So students, in this video, we have seen how blood circulates in the heart. As I told you, it is a closed circulation, and since we started with left side of the heart, we ended up in the left side of the heart again. In the next video, we will see about cardiac cycle in detail.